All right, students, here we go. We're going to be talking about multiplying algebraic fractions again today. I'm going to be digging a little bit deeper into it. Quite a bit more difficult problems today, so I wanted to guide you through a few of them. We're going to go over 3 problems off of your practice page. So if you watch this video in its entirety, you can go ahead and get 3 of the problems accomplished for you. But pay attention, focus, follow along, all those good things, and we'll learn something about multiplying algebraic fractions. 3 steps that I want to talk, well, really 2 steps that I want to talk about is factoring. You're going to have to factor. So maybe factor to trinomials or maybe factor out a number. And then simplifying before you multiply across. This is considered cross-canceling in multiplication of fractions. If we have ability to simplify across the fraction, we can do so. So we're going to be like simplifying these a's and these b's. Keep in mind that anything over itself, you know, I say like smiley face over smiley face will always equal 1. So any number over itself will always equal 1 in simplification. So let's dig right in here. We got a squared minus b squared. This is actually difference of 2 squares. We've been talking a lot about that lately. So it goes to 2 binomials. And the square root of each with 1 of each sign. So we have a plus b and a minus b. Looking at a to the 4th b, we don't really have anything to factor out there, so let's just say a to the 4th b. Ab to the 2nd, again, we don't really have anything to factor out there, so let's just go ab to the 2nd. Look at this, 3a plus 3b, they'll both divide by 3, right? So we got 3 times the quantity a plus b. That's factoring in each section, each quadrant. I like to think of it as like 4 little problems in one big problem. Now let's look at our simplification step, or simplifying, cross-canceling. Let's start with this, a plus b, a plus b, a plus b, and a plus b would cancel out. So those are gone, they equal 1. Quotient of powers rule, so if we have 1a on top and 4 on bottom, the one on top would cancel out and the one on bottom would go to 3 because subtraction. Same thing here, quotient of product powers, quotient of powers, not product powers, excuse me, quotient of powers, 2 on top, 1 on bottom, the one on bottom would cancel out, leaving us 1 on top. Now that was a lot of simplification there, so let's rewrite, see how we got simplified and see if we need to do more simplification. Got that b up here, so we have b times the quantity a minus b. Just gonna leave it like that for now. We'll see what happens with the bottom. I got this 3. The 3 had no other numbers to cancel out with or to simplify with. So we have 3, and it looks like we just have the a to the 3rd left. So 3a to the 3rd. I think that's it. Double check that we've simplified everything. Yep, can't simplify anything else. So this actually relates to EB if you're keeping track of the answer there for your assignment. Looks good. Let's look at another one. A little bit more difficult one. Keep in mind this factor, simplify idea. Factor first, then simplify. So let's look at, this is actually number 5. You can see quite a bit more difficult right off the bat. I'm going to set up a kind of quadrant style here, and you can start wherever you want to factor. I'm going to start up here actually. So I see 6a minus 4a squared. These will divide by 2a. If I factor out a 2a, I'm left with 3 minus 2a. Yep, looks good. Now this one kind of follows the same idea. Let's factor out, but instead of a 2a, we're actually going to factor out a 4a. They both divide by 4a. Leaves 2a minus 3. Now these look like they're the same and they just cancel out, but they don't. I'm going to show you that here in a second. We'll come back to that idea. Let's get back to our factoring. Now this is a trinomial. We're going to factor it to binomials. Since the coefficient of a is 1, we can just use a and a. Now factors of 25 that add to be negative 10 would be negative 5 and negative 5. So perfect square trinomial there. A minus 5 and a minus 5. Let's double check that. First, Yep. Outside would be negative 5. Inside would be negative 5. Gives us negative 10. And then negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Sure enough, works. Last quadrant here, we have top left. So 2a squared minus 13a minus 15. Always look to factor something out of this just to make it simpler, but in this case we cannot. So we're stuck doing California method. California method says 2 times 15 is 30. So we need factors of 30 that add to be negative 13, which would be negative 10 and negative 3. Now if we use the 2a minus 10 and the 2a minus 3, then look to simplify, like California method says, we actually have a minus 5 and 2a minus 3. Which you can see right there, that's going to cancel out. Looks good on the factoring side. Remember this California method, it's pretty difficult, but it sure helps in getting the job done for factoring in one step. Next step is to look to cross-cancel or simplify. Let's start easy. I see an A here, gone. Now, if it's in parentheses, that follows a little bit different rules, but they have to match exactly. So look at the A minus 5, gone. You could use either one of them if you want. 2a minus 3, 2a minus 3, gone. It looks at the 2 and the 4 here. If I divide it by 2, I get 1. That's gone. If I divide by 2, I get 2. So the 2's left there. Yeah, looks pretty good for now. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we go 3 minus 2a all divided by 2 times the quantity a minus 5. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. This actually, what I was going to talk about with the 2a minus 3 and the 3a minus 2, you could, to get this in the right format, you could switch them around and then factor out a negative. And since your assignment shows an answer like that, I'm just going to show you how to do it. If I put the 2a in front, I'll show you a different color here. If I put the 2a in front, it would still be negative, so negative 2a plus 3. But then if we factor out that negative, it becomes negative 2a minus 3. And then it would have factored out, or canceled out, excuse me, it would have canceled out with this one here. But since this one did the job, that's fine as well. So let's go ahead and go from there. We now have this modified just a little bit, so we have negative 2a minus 3 all over 2 times the quantity a minus 5. That looks pretty good. My box is quite a bit off there. That's going to match up with EY on your assignment. So 2a minus 3 all over 2 times the quantity a minus 5. And it is negative there. So I want to make sure we got that one done together. Cool. That's a tough one. You won't actually see this again, I believe. I don't think you will. Let's look at the last one here. I wanted to do one more for you, or one more with you here. This one presents a little bit of a different look because we have a minus 1 to the third. That just means we have a minus 1 and a minus 1 and a minus 1. Just to show you real quick. So a minus 1, a minus 1, a minus 1. That's a minus 1 to the third. You don't have to expand that at all. Looking 27, a to the fourth, b to the seventh. 3a squared minus 6a plus 3. I see a 3 to be factored out of that, so let's take a look there. And then the 9ab minus 3. It doesn't look like we can factor anything out except for right here. So let's set up our quadrant idea. I'm going to write that a minus 1, a minus 1, and a minus 1. 9ab to the third. 27, a to the fourth, b to the seventh. And now let's factor this. I'm actually going to divide everything by 3. Factor out a 3 first. So we have 3 times the quantity a squared minus 2a plus 1. Now let's factor that into binomials. If we factor that into binomials, the 3 is still going to be there. A, remember, same as the first, a minus 1 and a minus 1. Let's double check that. A squared, negative 1a, make negative 2a. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Looks good. Now let's continue to simplify, or start to simplify, I should say. A lot going on here. I see these a minus 1s. I have 2 of them down here. 2 gone. 2 gone up here. Look at the 3's. Let's divide 3. We have 27 divided by 3. 3's gone. This leaves 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1. So those are both gone. Just get this out of the way so I know it's not there anymore. A to the 4th divided by a to the 1st. This one would be gone. This would leave 3. B to the 7th divided by b to the 3rd. 7 minus 3 is 4. Whew. Let's see if we can figure out what all we got left. On the top of the fraction, I see a to the 3rd. I see b to the 4th. And I see one more a minus 1 here. And look at this. Gone, 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 gone. I see nothing on the bottom. So it's actually over 1, but you wouldn't need that. This would just be your answer. Yeah, looks good. So we have a to the 3rd, b to the 4th, times a quantity a minus 1. That is going to relate to EG on your assignment. Please let me know if you need some help. Email me, private message me on Google Classroom. Get the help that you need. Thanks for watching, guys.